Welcome to the TDC Canada's show of Socially Served. My name is Sue Roscoff. TDC, or the Disability Channel, is out of Toronto, Ontario, Canada, showcasing abilities. TDC provides digital media production, education, and employment programs by and for persons with disabilities and veterans. It's through media, training, and community partnerships that we create opportunities where we cultivate inclusion and truly make a difference for everybody. Joining me today is my co host, Michael Martin Hummel. He is a writer, speaker, and podcaster dedicated to bridging the gap between disabled and able bodied communities. Michael, how are you today?
I'm good. It's good to see you. Thank
Good to
you.
see you, like all of you. Looking a little freshened up there.
Yeah, yeah. It was getting a bit long, so I took it all off. But I'm growing it back because me and my wife don't like it.
Oh, change of pace, because you said, how long has it been since you've done that fully?
Uh, well, there's been times when I shaved too much off, and I had to take it all off. But long term, it's been 13, 13 years.
Ooh, it's a long time, but a new look at least for the moment. We'll see
Yeah.
how you show up here in the upcoming weeks yet. If you're tired of this and want to grow back, or
Yeah.
I don't know, stay tuned. We'll find out more. But I am excited to introduce our guest for this evening. Scott Brown is joining us. He is the founder of the Sonoma County chapter of Romeo. Romeo, Retired Old Men Eating Out. Absolutely love that. He was recently tapped by the National Founders to expand the organization across all 9 Bay Area counties, and he is dedicated to building strong, supported communities for retired men. I created an online community for the retired men to socialize, to learn financial tips, and manage wealth. Healthy living with improved gut health and working out to stay flexible and finding your tribe and evolving. And really, that is what Scott's all about here. And he has written a guide for retired men called A Man's Purpose Never Retires, It Evolves, that is being published currently by Leaders Brand Publishing. So go check that one out. Find that. Again, A Man's Purpose Never Retires, It Evolves. So Scott also spent a few years with the U.S. Vets in in Long Beach, California, as a lifestyle counselor to help former homeless vets to assimilate. And today he is here to talk directly to our retired military veterans about rebuilding that vital sense of brotherhood, combating isolation, and finding a powerful new purpose in their post-service years, one meal and one conversation at a time. Scott, I am so happy you are joining us here today. How are you?
I am so pleased to be here. I've been looking forward to this for weeks now, and I'm doing great. I'm having a great time. And something interesting that you have is disability. I have a disability, and it's not being an American, by the way, but I have a disability. I mean, this is out of Canada, so I just want to got to throw that in there. We
Always
love
got it.
you. We love you in the lower 48. We really do. But I'm from California and I do have a disability. I didn't know about it. It's a hidden disability and it's a mental disability that I have and I didn't even know I had it. I do There were markers somewhere in my family because it's a hereditary thing and I could see one time my grandfather crying when my mom was cheering for the Dodgers. I think he's the one who had it because it creates melancholy. Abraham Lincoln, melancholy. Can you imagine? Well, should I talk about an American president to a Canadian audience? Maybe, because he was a good president and he was trying to keep the country together. It was a country that was divided by, what you don't have up there in Canada, but we had here, which is slavery. And we kept on kicking it down the road and the round and road. And it was all about states' rights versus the federal government. And we had a civil war and it was brother against brother. Can you imagine being the president of the United States at that time and having hereditary issues like he did with depression? and his son died while he was in office too. And his oldest son went to war. And then every day he gets the reports of how many Americans were killed, not just Union soldiers, but the Confederates too. And can you imagine what you have to go through as a leader and have to deal with this just to keep the country together? And can you imagine if British Columbia just separated and decided to have a civil war against the rest of the provinces? What would that do? So, in fact, I think we were talking about British Columbia being the 51st state or something like that. I don't know. So anyway, I digress just a little bit. But when I saw the disability, I have to mention that I do have a disability. You wouldn't know it. I'm walking, but you would have known it several years ago, like 7 or 8 years ago. I was a basket case. I was depressed. I went to therapy. I went to a hypnotist. The woman I was with, her nickname for me before this was Superman. She couldn't come up with a nickname for me after this because she didn't have the heart to tell me. So she ended up leaving me at the lowest point because she didn't want to see me go through this. So she did me a favor. I didn't like it at the time when she deserted me, but she ended up living in Paris, which was her dream. And I'm happy for her. And I did look her up one time, and she basically said, "How are you doing? What are you doing?" One of those things, right? And she found a younger, better looking guy. Happy for her, I guess. So you move on. So what I did was I decided that volunteering was the way, because when you find out that somebody has something worse than you in life, it makes you feel better about your life, and it lifts you up, and you can end up lifting other people. So I always did that. I volunteered, but I just couldn't do it. When you're depressed, you snap out of it. My dad didn't understand. What do you do? What happened to your life? I mean, you were doing this, that you were executive. What happened? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. And that's what you say all the time. I don't know. And then you get angry because you don't know how to get out of it. And life is dark. It's just darkness. So all of a sudden, actually, I tried to kill myself. I couldn't do it anymore. I failed. Thank God I failed.
Thank God you failed.
I failed. But I couldn't take it anymore. When you're in darkness for all that time, what are you going to do? So you say to yourself, I'm too good for this world. And I did things like Robin Williams at the time. I heard about Robin Williams, how he tried to kill himself, and he successfully killed himself. And he was a brilliant man. So I always related to his comedic, just improv and doing these things. And I always thought, oh, how cool is it to just take a situation and not even do anything, like Seinfeld. If you watch Seinfeld, it's about nothing.
Love Seinfeld.
Yeah, but it's nothing. I mean, they're talking
Right.
about nothing. There's no script. There's nothing. How do you pitch that to a studio? We're gonna write it. We're gonna do a sitcom about nothing, and people are gonna watch it. What are you talking about? Just like a friend of mine, I went to college with, Kevin Costner. Now, Kevin Costner did a movie. They said, "What are you doing in this movie?" Uh-oh, Sue's holding her heart. I love him too. He's my bro. He's my big bro. We went to college together. He married Cindy, who was a friend of mine at Cal State Fullerton, down in Fullerton, California. I went there, and all of a sudden, Cindy said, "I'm dating this guy." What? Who is he? Kevin. Kevin what? So the skinny kid walks into the Mongolian barbecue on State College Street, down the street from campus. "Hey, how you doing? Nice to meet you." "Hey, I've seen you around." Where? Kevin would say, "Where?" I said, "You hang out at the Goodwin Field baseball. You like baseball, don't you?" "Oh man, I love baseball." "What?" So I said, "Listen, man, I'm actually up the way here on the other side of the field at the dorms. I hear the crack of the bat on the aluminum. I got to go see what's going on." So I said, "What are you doing? Are you trying out for the team?" "Yeah, I'm going to try out for the team, see what happens." I said, "There's a guy out there. He's pretty good. His name is Tim Wallach." "Yeah, Tim Wallach. He's Timmy. We call him Timmy down there." All sorts of guys came out of Cal State Fullerton because that year when I was there, they won the College World Series here in the lower 48. So all of a sudden it was put on the map. And guess what happened to Kevin Costner? He didn't make the team. Now, aren't we glad that he did not make the team?
Yes.
Okay, we're happy that he didn't make the team because he had the heart to do it. He just, Augie Guerrero, who was one of the managers at the time for the team, he just said, "You don't have it," which is funny because I've seen Kevin go back and he goes to Cal State Fullerton and he throws the ball around because he's some like big cheese right now when it comes to baseball. He played this guy Cash in Bull Durham. Then he played The Field of Dreams, and then he played
Mhm.
some. Yeah, look at that. Sue likes that one.
Oh, I've
And
seen
then-
those many times.
How about him? The best part in the scene with where he's painting Susan Sarandon's toenails in the bathtub.
Oh my
Come on,
God,
that's
yes.
something great, right? And her character, he was funny in that movie. He wasn't even trying to be funny, but he was funny. And then in the movie No Way Out, where he ends up being a Russian at the end. What? Who taught him Russian? So anyway, he's just that kind of guy. He's a really nice guy. Now, what happened recently is this. He found me on LinkedIn. Okay, I wrote a post about college for some reason. I have no idea. All of a sudden, I saw a like from a guy named Kevin M. Costner. Michael is his middle name. I said, no, wait, this cannot be Michael. This cannot be Kevin, not the guy I hung out with in college. No way. And what happened was the last contact that I ever had with him, I wasn't invited to the wedding, by the way. And he married Cindy, his first wife, and they ended up getting a divorce. And he did a record payout of $80 million because he loved her. Okay, don't tell him I said this. I hope it doesn't get to Kevin because he lives in Carpinteria down in Southern California. And he also has a place in Aspen. I talked to him the other day. I said, where'd you have the kids? Because he just went through kind of a bad divorce, but he has young kids. I said, what are you doing? You got young kids now. Anyway, they all went to the Aspen location. He owns a home in Aspen, 35 rooms. Okay. So anyway,
Wow.
that's yeah. So back to the LinkedIn. So all of a sudden, I get this thing. So I wrote another post specifically about Kevin Costner and my time with him. And guess what he did? He answered it. He answered the post on LinkedIn. And so all of a sudden, we got into a conversation on LinkedIn. I said, Kevin, is that you? What are you doing on LinkedIn? Are you looking for a job? I wrote that. And he wrote back, hardly. You know what he was doing? He was trying to reconnect with people he knew in college.
Oh.
And so he just happened to find me. And there's no accidents, are there?
Nope.
So anyway, I wanted to go to the Long Beach Grand Prix. I wanted to go with him. You know what he basically said? There's no way. And by the way, when you talk to him on the cell phone, sometimes you can't talk to him because that cell phone number goes away. And what happened to him 1 day after he was on LinkedIn, disappeared completely. No trace of him on LinkedIn. They said to him, his people, he has a board of directors. They said, don't do this. Don't do this. So he was off LinkedIn. Anyway, he contacted me on some other platform called, I don't even know what it's called, but I meet with him on there. What is it called? It's called Telegram.
Ah.
So he found me on Telegram, and I'm on a super secure, super duper. So if I wanted to go see him, I got to go through his people, he calls them his representation, which is Philip Morris. So he's got a guy in Beverly Hills. And basically, I had to go through a whole thing, check this, check that. And I was planning on going down there. It didn't work out. And then he wanted to do something. I shouldn't even say this, but he wants to do something. He told me this. Just leave it at this. Scott, you're my bro. I missed you from college. I'm trying to relate back to people from college. And I saw this purpose and age thing. I want to make it successful. I wrote back to him. This time we were not on LinkedIn. I said, first of all, let me have your cell phone number. I want to call you. They said, okay, but you realize, I said, I understand why, whatever. So I said, define this for me. What does that mean? Purpose and age. You talked about that, Sue, that I have purpose and age. I've got Romeo and all this. And purpose and age is actually an offshoot from a podcast that I did with a friend of mine, Chris Salem, which went viral. And it was all about Romeo. So Romeo is already taken. I don't own that. So I came up with purpose and age. I didn't want to do golden years. That's too, I think of the old ladies in Florida. Right?
Oh yeah.
So I'm not doing golden age, but I did purpose in age, not retirement, but age. What does that mean? That means the next book I'm going to write is going to be with Susie Orman, maybe. I don't know, whoever my publisher has. And my publisher is an amazing writer herself. She's a best-selling writer. She's Polish, and she has her company in Pisa, Italy. Little town, and we all know it from what? The Leaning Tower of Pisa, right?
Exactly.
But she also has an office in, I hate to say it, but Dubai. Oh my God. I talked to her a couple of weeks before because I picked the wrong publisher and I went back to her with my tail between my legs. I said, would you please? And she said, how far along are you? I said, I'm not pregnant, but you want to know how far along I am with the book? Okay, fine. I got an outline. Okay, what happened to your other publisher? I was an invoice to her. Oh, I see. Now I get it. So I'm writing the book with her. She doesn't know it yet because I'm doing all my own marketing, but I'm doing exactly what they did with the Iliad. The Iliad was this. We talk about it, then they wrote the book. I hate to say this comparison too, because, John Lennon got in trouble for saying this one. But if you think about the New Testament, Jesus Christ didn't hand the New Testament in a leather bound to the apostles, did he? No. The story happened, then the book. So what I'm doing is I'm creating the movement before the book, and that's where Purpose and Age comes from. So those of you out there, we'll take care of you, even if you're above the lower 48. It's Purpose and Age, retirement. Your retirement's different because you're a socialist country, and we are really too, but we just don't admit it. Because I have Social Security, I have Medicare Advantage plan, and I'm going to talk about this. There's a chapter all about wealth management, how to get the right thing for the right thing, because there's too many choices. Okay, in socialism, you get vanilla or chocolate. In the United States, you get 31 flavors, and that's really difficult to make a decision. Even in Wisconsin, which is almost Canada.
Almost. It's a suburb. If you go, actually, I got to bring Kurt in. He's laughing hard on that one because yeah.
I mean, I know some guys that are in Michigan that don't follow the Tigers. They follow Toronto Blue Jays. What's that all about? So they're actually up on the peninsula. That's why, because they're right there. Or people that are in Niagara, what do they do in New York? They don't follow the Mets. They're way down there. Or the Yankees. They follow the Toronto. They used to follow the Montreal, but they're now the Senators. So we got them back here in the lower 48. So anyway, what was I talking about? Sue wrote me in because I'm going too crazy out here.
Oh yeah, honestly threw me a little bit there when we got to Wisconsin and being a suburb of Canada. That it goes back to when you go back to college days. That was what I used to hear because I was from northern Wisconsin.
Oh no,
which must be a suburb of Canada.
So you speak Canadian, of course.
It's a different. I speak Canadian,
English. It's a different English. Just like a friend of mine, she's from Northern Ireland and she speaks Gaelic and French and a little bit of English. And it's funny how she spells. Why'd she come up with the spelling? It's actually the Americans that said, get rid of the S's and put the Z's. Let's do it. We want to be different. We hate King George.
Oh,
now, Canada didn't like King George either, but they didn't do anything about it because the French were helping them anyway. And I have friends in Canada. They say, we're better than you are. I said, well, how do you say that? Well, we never had slavery. I said, all right, okay, let's move on. Next one. Right? You're actually better. I apologize for the slavery. I didn't have anything to do with it. By the way, the guy who wrote the Declaration of Independence happened to be a slave owner, and he talked about the pursuit of happiness for everybody. No, not really. So Thomas Jefferson was a good writer, a good man, but he was a slave owner. The first president of the United States, slave owner. The second president of the United States was from Massachusetts, not a slave owner, not a slave state. So there you go. And they kicked it down the curb. We already talked about this, so let's not belabor. So somebody else is anybody else having a civil war somewhere? Yeah, they are. South Africa, right? So forget about that. We're not talking politics. So Sue, get me back on track, please.
Well, I actually want to come back around to the concept of our military veterans. And
okay, let's do that.
Because there's actually a connecting point here. I'm guessing you might know this, but I'm not sure that Kurt and I are ambassadors with Project Die Hard. Is that something that you know about that organization or not yet?
I do now.
You do now. Excellent.
I know the title. Maybe we'll get to expand in it, but to kind of pull into the idea, and I already know this, that the military does not prepare you for civil life, especially retirement life. And I know this from working at US Vets, and I know this from finding people. They found people on the streets of Southern California. Are you a vet? You're homeless. Okay, you're a vet, you're homeless. Come with us. We have subsidized housing. We can give you a little job. We'll get you all your benefits. And that's what I did. I was a counselor to get their benefits. And there's a lot of pressure there because you're dealing, oh my God, I can't tell you how many times I called the Veterans Administration and they said, well, you got to call Social Security. What? Okay, he doesn't have that. He doesn't have insurance through this. He's got Medicare. What? How'd that happen? Why doesn't he have this and that? Why doesn't he have what is it called? What is that? The one which is veterans. My brother-in-law is a Marine, and he's got the certain insurance. Somebody help me.
Oh, I'm not
Anybody?
even sure. Sorry.
Okay. People in Canada, you don't care about that because you have one insurance.
Because of mouse anyway.
It doesn't matter. But you have too many choices here. You got Cobra, you got HIPAA. We had this whole thing. I lived through that because I worked in healthcare, a software management company, and all of a sudden you're thrown at HIPAA, and then we did Y2K too at the same time. We're dealing with computers. What's going to happen at the turn of the century? Absolutely nothing. That's what happened. But everybody was so afraid their computer was going to blow up, except for the Canadians. They were smart. They said, that's not going to happen. They knew. They were just kicking back and saying, we're kicking back. You Americans can just, suffer, right? With the idea of it blowing up. So anyway, veterans, back to that. There's no real, there's nothing really. I mean, there are things, but it's not structured. I noticed that where you get a pamphlet and you get a guy who's basically depressed, strung out. Maybe he was on drugs. He's suffering from post-traumatic, all the stuff that happens. He saw people killed, this and that, whatever the war was, whatever the conflict was, whatever the incursion was, whatever happened. He said to himself, what am I doing here? I want to go home. But when you go home, what happens? I mean, look what happened to the Vietnam guys that came back from Vietnam. They weren't treated very well, were they? In fact, they were called baby killers. They were called this and that. Can you imagine serving your country and being called all these bad things about yourself? And no, that doesn't happen. So, but it does. So how do we want to angle this? Because we're talking to a Canadian audience, or some of us are Americans that are in the audience, right?
Well, yes. And actually, one thing that we do, I'm going to share my screen for just a second, because Kurt and I do work with Project Die Hard, and there's a good connection between the Disability Channel and Project Die Hard. And it says right on the screen here, a faith-based, scripture-led 501c3 organization, true veteran nonprofit, all about bringing hope by the power of the Holy Spirit to our veterans. Because this is Brian Gibson on the screen here. He is the backbone of the organization, and we're all about preventing veteran suicide, because it is such a problem out there. I mean, you know better than I do how it is. And we're on the screen here again, all these different organizations are partnered in with us in what we're doing and what we're working towards. And with all the things that we're doing, there's actually a location at this point. There was a property that was donated to Project Die Hard, and the long-term goal, it's supposed to be a short-term goal, but it's very much a long-term goal, because raising money is something, right? So we are in the midst of raising the funds to modify the building that's there. There's a 10,000 square foot building, 20-acre property, and the goal is to have this location ready to go so that we can house a dozen single vets along with two families as well. There's room for that. And that is a place where veterans can go, and they can be there for a day, a week, a month, up to a year, and it's all about helping them get back on their feet and figure out what's next.
That's great. I mean, that's just like US Vets. US Vets is a nonprofit, but it is they use the name US Vets only because they are allowed to by the United States government. So, because they are separate from the United States government, all these, just like you are, it's separate. And so, to add to that, and a lot of the guys are coming out, they're fairly young and they're depressed. And there's a lot of movies about men, being in a depressed, either they take it on somebody else, they go into a bell tower and they shoot up everybody, or they kill themselves or try to kill themselves, or usually it's a gun. If somebody uses a gun, rifle, they want to kill themselves. If somebody's, using pills or other ways, they want help. So how do you get a guy who wants to kill himself to not kill himself or kill others? And we have a big gun problem here in the United States. I don't want to get political, but it's not like that in Canada, as far as I know. I don't know that much about it, but people getting guns, people making guns, people, it's just a mess with guns. For some reason, I don't hear it much either, but you hear about schools getting shot up, and it's not recently, it hasn't been, but you have like Columbine and all these other things, and a lot of copycats, and there's just weird people out there. There's strangeness going on. I think the strangeness is pretty much in the whole world, not getting political. I'm just saying globally, we got strange stuff going on. I'm wondering about this planet right behind me. And if you look at that, it seems like a calm place, but humans don't make it very calm, do they? So,
no.
yeah, what do we do? We should all be
you're doing
something.
You're doing a great thing having the going out with the Romeo group, right?
Well,
Something
the Romeo group is I don't own the Romeo group. I actually lease their stuff. I got a trademark. I had a call with the two. There are three founders. One of them has passed away, but the other two, and they wanted to make sure that I was using the name properly. They don't want to monetize it. They don't want to do all this. And so that's fine. I mean, get the guys out there. And so Romeo is actually designed for you to go somewhere, eat lunch. You can't eat lunch online. So I split it up for 9 counties, but there are other Romeos everywhere else. They also said to me, if somebody in your county wants to start their own Romeo, let them do it. Okay, fine. Let them do it. I don't care. You know why? Because I think I said this on another broadcast. There are no rules. The only rule is there are no rules. So how do you have a rule book without rules? And how do you actually set it? So you have to have a certain amount of rules. So what I'm doing is hiring, hopefully maybe even volunteers, just like me, who's retired, who says, I want to tribe. I want to find guys. And maybe we find military people. There are plenty of military. I got to tell you, I was down in Oakland, California, and there's a lot of military there. There's Coast Guard, and they played Reveille way too many times. So I said to myself, why am I staying in this hotel? I don't even need to set my clock. I don't even set my timer. I'll just listen to Reveille tomorrow morning. And that's what we did. It was right across the way in Oakland, right at the Coast Guard station right there. So there is definitely military here in Northern California. So I'm sure that I'll find retired guys. They're all walks of life. I got people that are retired school teachers. And even if you're not retired, if you're, I don't know, 40 to 60, let's get in there and we'll take you anyway. My problem is, and the problem that we have with the whole organization is there's not skin in the game because there are no dues. No one pays any dues. So, okay, I ended up getting, I think, 60 guys the first month, which I thought was pretty good.
That is pretty good.
Yeah. So I found 60 guys and I organized it. Then I sent a list because I had to sign everyone up at the main office. So I did that. And so what happened was I would do things like a Super Bowl party. This was in February. So there's a casino here, Indian casino. That's another problem here too. Indians. Okay. Not that Indians are problems, but the United States dealing with Indians. That's another issue. But anyway, I'm not bad mouthing the United States, by the way. I'm just letting you know this is the truth. So they have a casino. It's an Indian casino here where I live, about 10 minutes away, called Grayton. So I said, we're going to have a Super Bowl party. I invited all 50 guys out, and 3 of us showed. One of us was with me, and the other guy is new to the group. What happens is people sign up, guys sign up. You know this as a woman, Sue. They sign up. Do they actually go do it? No. Weren't you supposed to go to that meeting tonight? Yeah, but I'm not going. But I thought you were going to go. Yeah, but get off the couch. Go do something. Live some vitality, honey. Let's go. And stop eating. You're starting to lose that good-looking thing that I remember. You're getting too paunchy in the butt or in the stomach, and you got to do something about that. Go to the gym. By the way, there's gyms that you get through Medicare Advantage, like Planet Fitness, all over the country, and they have senior programs because you don't want to be vigorously working out to impress the women and pull a hamstring and be out of commission for the rest of your life. You just want to tone yourself up. So I'm involved with a couple of them here where I live, and I do that. I actually watch them bring people in for their senior programs. So it's usually low weight, lots of reps. They don't get hurt. You get these guys that are impressing all these women around them in their yoga pants, and they say, look at me, I'm breaking my arm off on the machine, but that's okay because I'm going to be strong for you. No, that's not how it happens. And these guys are in their 60s trying to impress these women. That's not going to work. So, take care of that. Take care of your gut health. I have a doctor that I'm working with, Dr. Harvey out of Dallas, Texas.
We
And
love Dr. Harvey.
do you?
Yes. He
Okay,
does a
Dr.
podcast with us too.
He's great. Dr. Harvey, he's all about taking care of your gut health. And it's mind and the gut, mind and the gut, mind the gut, mind the gut. So he's actually going to be working with me at Purpose and Age. So if you really want to tune into Purpose and Age, we're going to feature him. In fact, we have him featured right now at the top of the page. He's a great guy, and he lives it. He looks like he's 80 when he's really 29. No, how's the other way around? He's 80, but he looks like 29, which is funny because I see him, once in a while. I've had calls with him. We're planning it, but we're doing other things too. Not just that, gut health. Are you bringing them up, aren't you?
I sure am. So this
All right,
is
let's see.
purposeandage.com. So
Oh yeah, there you go. Fantastic. Thank you. There's the podcast that went crazy. I'm the better looking guy, the one on the left. That's me. No, that's my
absolutely
friend
love it.
Chris. Okay, now look at this. Purpose and Age. Okay, there's a slide of, okay, you want to live, look at that woman happy. Now, I told you in another broadcast about a friend of mine, 73. I don't go out with women anymore. I'm too old. I don't do that anymore. Stop it. Just hold her hand, walk around, enjoy your life. Oh my God, there's Dr. Harvey.
Dr.
Like
Harvey.
I said, there he is. He's, he should shave. He'll look younger.
He's amazing.
He's
I always say small world, right? That
it is.
Have that connection because he's a great guy and he comes and joins actually pretty often. He's
he's an authority. He's not even an expert. He's an authority on living life, long time, long living, vitality. He works out. I have a friend of mine. He's 60 years old. He lives in Las Vegas and he runs 5 miles a day, even in Las Vegas. Thank God he's moving to Tahoe for a couple of reasons. I get a place to go skiing because he's a buddy of mine. He's an attorney in San Francisco. He doesn't live in California. He makes too much money. He lives in Nevada. There's no income tax in Nevada. So there you go with that. So now Dr. Harvey's there. Mm-hmm. We're going to bring on some other people because we don't want to just be a website. We're not. In fact, we're going to run on a platform. And if you go back, pull up the website one more time. I want to show something really cool. It's called Online Community. Now, some men are just not ready to go out. They just want to sit there in their, I don't know, sweatpants that they've worn for 5 days in a row. And they got the dust from whatever they've been eating. It's all over their shirt that they haven't changed. They haven't shaved. So I endorse other products that are out there and some people that you already know from the Great Discovery. I'm part of the, I'm also part of the Great Discovery as getting in there. And that's how Kirk and I know. By the way, you see that one right there, Health? You know who that is, HealthSpan, right? You know who's that? So it gives different advice for men. It's not being endorsed, but eventually, because I'm getting economy of scale, I'm getting so many people coming to the website now that these are not going to be endorsements. They're going to be sponsors. Okay, here you go. This is coming out. This is what I'm talking about for an online community. So when a man, and eventually it's going to be for women too that retire, that they want to go somewhere to get socialization. So if you go down a little bit, so it's Vantage Point. You can see the Vantage Point, an exclusive men's online community coming soon. Look at the fine print. Look at all the things that are benefits. So we're talking about a subscription model, some way that you can go in, and then I'm going to do this on the Great Discovery. I've already talked to Tim, and we're going to basically have a pay gate. So people come in, and I have just in the United States and Canada alone, which we'll take Canadians. We love you. We really do. And we'll have, it'll be probably around $49 a month or less, depending. We might do a tiered pricing. We don't know yet. We're going to test it because I'm a marketer. We test things. So it's all about online community. So guess what? You don't have to put your pants on. You can go to your computer and you can log in and you continue to pay just like Netflix and you watch what you want, and we'll have specials. Guess who's going to be there? It's going to be on the platform. And who's on the platform at Great Discovery? But a lot of people, thousands already. And we'll tap people like Dr. Harvey. Dr. Harvey will walk in and say, okay, guys, this is what I do. Here's how I do it. And by the way, if you want to sign up for this, see me. And then he benefits. Now, if you know about the Great Discovery, it's a community and everybody benefits. It's a beautiful thing. It's an ecosystem. And basically, with the, okay, now I can pick up other parts of the world because if you know anything about Great Discovery, there's a native language switch. So all of a sudden, I can go talk to somebody in Parlez-vous français, y allemand, y portugués, y español, all over the place. So all of a sudden, I went double my opportunity at the top of the funnel. Thank you, Tim. I want to give him a big kiss. Anybody want to give Tim a big kiss? Because they built that in with artificial intelligence. And so there's a little birdie out there that's saying that my next meeting that I have with Tim, which is tonight, will be a pivotal point for both organizations. I don't want to say anything. I don't want anybody to get jealous or any of that stuff, but there could be a chance that I'm going to be doing something significant with, because I've been looking for something like this for all my life in marketing. It's a perfect fit for what I wanted to do. And it's all about what, you know, Kirk saw at a meeting that we had earlier. And I talked to some marketer about Google and all this other stuff. Google owns the highway, and the highway is Web3. And most marketers don't even know that. I caught on early with that whole thing. So that's why I'm a modern Renaissance man, because I do a lot of things and I live by these rules. The rules are being, this is the 4 agreements. I picked up on this in 1998 when Miguel Ruiz wrote this book from Toltec, living, how to live the right life. And it's really simple, but it's hard to follow and it takes forever. I'm still stumbling. And I taught the woman that I love to do this so that we have a foundation of love. So we actually just say assumption, or we'll say personal. So the whole thing of this is be impeccable with your word. Make sure you're saying it, do it. If you have to change it, that's okay. Just come back and say it. I'm changing it. Okay. Don't assume. We know what happens in a relationship. It opens up a big can of worms. Like, okay, so that means you really don't like me, do you? Who said that? I never said that. So what we do is don't assume. And what we do is move it to what? Clarification. So if I understand correctly, you really do love me. You just don't like me right now. Is that right? No, that's not it either. Okay, so get down to what it's supposed to be. And then the other thing, you're an idiot. You smell. What is wrong with you? What'd you do to your hair? Don't take it personally. Something's wrong with that person. They said they're attacking you because they don't feel good that day. So this is all in the book. And there's actually a 5th agreement now, and the son's involved. I think they're just trying to write books and sell books. So they have the final thing is, and I've always done this, is always do your best. And I'm always doing my best, no matter what. And my best is whatever it is for that day. One day, I'm going to be on top of the world. I wake up at 4 o'clock, jump out of bed and say, I know what I'm doing today. I keep a calendar. I try to keep it. Some days I just can't do it. Some days I just have to say, I can't make that meeting. What am I doing? I'm 63. How much energy do I have to have? So that's why I'm doing a lot of different things, and I'm living under this, and I'm living in a positive way, which is putting it out in the universe, which is the law of attraction, which is the secret, which a lot of thinkers throughout history knew the secret. And I think I know the secret. And it's really good to know the secret because you can live a calm, cool life with peace. Don't we want it at the end of the day to live in an environment of mindful peace that we can say to ourselves, forget the rest of the world. I do this with friends too, as far as the economy. I give business to people I like and trust. So I call that the friends economy. So we keep each other in business. Now, sometimes we bring outsiders in because they have a really good product or service, but they have to prove themselves to be part of the friends economy. And we all paid our dues to be part of the economy. Everybody, I think, does this. They should entitle it something. So anyway, what we're doing as Purpose and Age is to pretty much give people the idea that you got to have purpose, no matter what age it is, whatever decade it is, whatever is going on in your life, whether you're out of college, in college, you choose to go to a college. That's a really important thing because that sets your course. So how do you choose a college? Purpose and Age. How do you choose a spouse? Sometimes we don't do so well. 50% of us fail at that for sure. So what do we do? How do we choose purpose this, purpose that. I mean, there was a purpose-driven life written by somebody in a faith-based way, but this is purpose in age, and find your purpose. My dad told me that. I learned this from my dad and my mom. My dad said to me, Scott, yes, Dad, do what you love to do. You're going to do a hell of a lot of it. And I learned that from example because my father was a fine artist, but he worked at a supermarket in Southern California, and he had his artwork at a furniture store, and there was a contest. And my mom said, if you win this contest, Derwin, you are going to be a full-time artist. And it's my mom's fault because he won the contest and they never looked back. And so my dad made a living at doing that. And they ended up buying a home because my mom had allergies. And I grew up the first 2 years, I lived in a place called La Mirada, California. And it was cow pastures, and my mom's allergies. I get that from her too. Allergies. So they went along the coast. They found a house for $45,000 with a view of Catalina Island in Southern California. And they lived there forever. And my mom died in that house. My dad died in the house too. And $45,000 house in Southern California turned into like 2.5 million or something like that.
Wow.
So anyway, my dad, I didn't know we were poor until we used to eat leftovers. And I used to run around as a kid. We used to go to art shows because that's what my dad did. And my mom was a singer. My mom had a great alto voice, and she did studio work. Her brother was a producer in Hollywood. So she was able to get studio work. And her best thing that she did and most proud was the 1984 Summer Olympics in Los Angeles. And she was picked as one of the singers in the choir. And that was something that she really loved. She didn't get paid for that, but she got paid for doing studio work in Hollywood. And she taught me how to read music. And I hang out with music people too. I mean, I was just last couple of days with a group called the Shy Lights. And a friend of mine plays the drums for them. They're out of Chicago, South Side. And there's one survivor still. And you know their music, you just don't know the group. And one of their songs is Have You Seen Her? Baby, have you seen her? Woo, yeah. You know, they sing like that. So I was there at the concert, and I was part of the band. I took the guys out to San Francisco, took them on the sights. They went down the curvy street of Lombard. They said, no way, we're not doing that down. I said, get out of the car then. Get out of the car. If you're going to be a baby, these are big guys that play instruments, right? Get out of the car, man. Go away. No. I don't want to walk. Okay, then be quiet. He said, stop tapping your brake. Stopped. That was Greg. Greg said, he's the bassist. Stop tapping the brake. What do you want me to do? Go full on? You can't even turn. If you had a stretch limo, you couldn't even take it down that street.
Wow.
So anyway, purpose and age, it's not the silver bullet, but it's going to help. Just like artificial intelligence, which I'm an architect for also after getting out of MIT, it's not the silver bullet. It is a tool. And the word to the wise is this: pick one of the tools and make it yours, and don't use multiple tools that don't speak to each other. And why would you have multiple assistants that don't speak to each other? It's so confusing, and your reputation is on the line for that. So teach one and teach it well, which sounds like a good way to end by saying, teach your children well, something like that.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for all those insights. You've got, I could talk to you all night. I love this. I do have
I'm
a couple
modern
things.
Renaissance guy. That's what I am.
Yes, you are. And it says it right on your screen there that you absolutely are. And I absolutely love it. I do have a couple things I need to pull back around and share here.
Sure.
I have one thing that we actually have kind of in common here with doing the breakfast events. Is with Project Die Hard. They do a breakfast as well. There's the first Wednesday of the month is always the fellowship breakfast. And currently it is at one location, but hoping to expand as funds are available to be able to do that. It's at the IHOP in Paducah, Kentucky. So that is always that first Wednesday of the month. So an opportunity for our veterans to look forward to that event each and every month. I also am pulling back.
Well, that's a long drive for somebody who lives in California. So if you actually scale something like this, the way to do this is to scale it with a national organization. And I'm pretty sure that the guys in Connecticut who run Romeo all over the country would be happy to host something like this. Let's just see where that could go.
Yeah, we should. We'll continue that conversation offline here because I think that there's so many possibilities. Oh my gosh,
I mean,
it's all
nothing
about who
against.
you know and making those connections, connecting the
I like.
dots.
You said Kentucky, right? I do like Kentucky because the Cincinnati airport is actually in Kentucky.
I did not know that.
No, it is. It's on the other side of the river. And I don't know what it was, but they didn't build the Cincinnati airport in Ohio. They built it in Kentucky. And somebody stopped me, but I think I'm absolutely right because I've flown in there many times.
Excellent. Well, and Kurt put this up to make sure we share out as well because this is coming up really soon. The Helpopedia Telethon is next Thursday. It's for a long time felt like it's so far out in the future, but it's not anymore. It's next Thursday, July 23rd from 7 to 9 Eastern. There's going to be a lot going on. You can see right on here the water ski show that we're part of, the ADA celebration, America's with Disabilities Got Talent. You can find information on here. This is actually a LinkedIn event here that you can find. So look for the group Helpopedia on LinkedIn. They have a very, oh my gosh, very robust, very good website that is such a massive resource for folks. Specialneeds.help. That is something that needs to get out there. People need to know it exists because Helpopedia put this together and it's only been available online now for coming up on 3 months. So it's still brand new and growing. So that is available and want to make sure y'all know. So again, save that date for next Thursday from 7 to 9 Eastern. Helpopedia is hosting its first telethon to celebrate the 36th anniversary of the ADA, the Americans with Disabilities Act. Enjoy an extraordinary 2-hour showcase of performers with diverse abilities, talents, gifts, and creativity. Funds raised will support the robust specialneeds.help directory, helping millions of special needs families find the resources they need all in one place. So, Kurt, anything you want to add to that? I'm going to pass it to you for just a moment here.
Yeah, we are accepting offers to run breakout rooms. So if anybody has a service that ties in or resource that's valuable for parents and youth, the mission of Helpopedia is to support parents and youth. And so the directory project, Special Needs That Help, is a particular project of the nonprofit. So certainly if anybody has something of value for families that have a family member with a disability, or if you're single and you have a disability, one way or another, if there is something that people with disabilities would be looking for, we can have a breakout room that people attending can discuss that offering. So contact us if you do have something to offer the event as a particular breakout room discussion.
Excellent. Yep. Very, very good. And
yep.
Oh, go ahead, Scott.
Oh, no, I was just going to add, if you have a disability, don't look away from it. Sometimes your disability is your advantage. I have a mental disability, which I mentioned already somewhere. I did schizoaffective disorder. I didn't even know I had this until I was hit by stresses. And that didn't happen until I was in my 40s, going through a divorce. My kids were rejecting me. I went through a failed business when the economy dropped in the mortgage industry. I was in the mortgage industry. Also, things happen. And all of a sudden, your bills don't stop and you got all the stress and you're going through a divorce and blah, blah, blah. All of a sudden, I just shut down. My brain shut down because I have a hereditary disease. And it's a disease like cancer. I didn't even know I had this. It was lurking there. Schizoaffective disorder. I always knew I was different. But the nice part about this is it made my other part of my brain pretty smart. I'm happy about that. So you embrace your disability. And how I do that is accept it rather than reject it. And I listen to it and I do coping skills and I give more. I learned this from my mom. My mom said, give, give, give. Keep your hands open, palms up. Things will fall in there. Some of those things you'll give and some of them it's okay to keep. And just make sure you continue this process and help other people that are less fortunate. That helped me through the dark years because I said to myself, it's not so bad. You got a disability. And some women that I dated didn't understand it. And one of them said, you're mental. And I said, thank you. I am mental, which is okay because I love this woman. I think she was kidding. She said, you're a mental case. I said, I am a mental case and I embrace it. We're all mental cases. Some of us just know what we have. And I happen to know that I have schizoaffective disorder. I didn't even know what that was. I thought I was bipolar. I went and saw a hypnotist who put me under to see in my past lives or in my previous, my current life, way back. I mean, did your father do that? No, it's like, come on, just coping skills. Just face it, live it, cope it. And if you saw me walking down the street, you would not know. But there are sometimes I lose it. I have to go and be quiet to myself. And one of the things that happens is rumination. You ruminate. And so I tried not to ruminate. So I'm a writer. So I put things down on paper. I got to get out of my head. If not, it's a vicious cycle in my head. And it kills you. It basically will kill you. It's not voices speaking, thank God, but it's a form of schizophrenia. But it's thoughts in your head, not voices in your head. Thank God for that. And so, I was hospitalized for months at a time. They didn't know what was wrong with me. I spent 2 years in a halfway house, not knowing that I got approved for disability, Social Security disability. I got approved for it right away. Evidently, my caseworker was really good at convincing an attorney who was really good at convincing Social Security, and it was unheard of. I even fought it. I said, there's no way. I have nothing wrong with me. My limbs work. My legs work. No. You can't hold the job. Well, that's a disability, isn't it? So for people out there that are coming out of military and they deny that they have anything wrong with them, don't accept it, learn to corral it and live with it and take it to your advantage. And, looking at me being successful, which I am, and I had a successful career in marketing, which is a great place for a crazy person to be in, because it's either comedy or marketing or art or writing. So I kind of picked all of them, I guess, except for the comedy part. So anyway, that's my parting words to those of you out there, military or otherwise. Accept it, look in the mirror, and make it yours. Own it, make it happen, and live your life, and stop living somebody else's life, and embrace it, and use coping skills, and volunteer. Because once you see somebody out there who's worse off, and some people are better, you don't think you're that bad, and you can deal with it. Just live with your diagnosis. And if you don't believe your diagnosis, get a second opinion. But you've got something wrong with it. Everybody does. The lucky ones are the ones that find out what's wrong with you. That's the lucky one. So I feel fortunate.
Excellent. So, well, and I appreciate you sharing all of these wonderful words of wisdom with us. It makes a difference. People are hearing that and hopefully taking that to heart, because you're speaking truth, and we so appreciate that.
Yeah, it's a battle every day in your head. Everybody has a battle in their head. So there you go.
Well, and I do have Marianne of Waikiki joining us here today as well, but we are going to play for her one of her book trailers. She's the author of the Acts of Kindness series of the books. And again, actsofkindnessseries.com is where you can find all of the information that she has. But here is the Underwater Acts of Kindness promo video. And I'm going to have you guys all just listen in.
Listening to a story. Set sail with Underwater Acts of Kindness. Join Noah, the hard-of-hearing humpback whale, and his marine friends as they take on the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. On their journey between Hawaii and California, they discover an enormous pile of plastic, but with teamwork and courage, they plan to clean it up. With the guidance of Dod General of the New Earth Army, they rally ocean creatures and you to help restore our seas. Now available on Amazon Audible, listen as author Marianne of Waikiki narrates this inspiring adventure, featuring mesmerizing music by Lucy and the Perfect Wave and Nick's guitar, echoing the sounds of whales and dolphins. This book is dedicated to Boyan Slat, founder of The Ocean Cleanup, making waves for a cleaner future. Sing along with Noah's song and dive into a world of peace, love, happiness, and thanks. After reading, visit the Acts of Kindness series YouTube channel for more adventures. Learn the ASL ABCS with Dr. Fingers, the fingerspelling hermit crab on YouTube, kids. Get coloring books now at www.actsofkindnessseries.com and Amazon. Plus, grab your New Earth Army t-shirt and pledge to protect our planet. Underwater Acts of Kindness by Marianne of Waikiki. Available now on Amazon, Audible, and actsofkindnessseries.com.
Excellent. And so for all of us here with TDC Canada Socially Served, I am so proud that you guys have joined us here tonight. Michael, thank you for joining us. Marianne of Waikiki, Scott Brown, thank you so very much for all you've shared with us. And you can be reached again. What is your website?
It is purposeandage.com. Pretty easy. Also have Romeo. You'll find all that on Purpose and Age, and I'm doing some things in the entertainment industry too, so I've got that.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much. I look forward to us continuing this conversation. And Kurt, as always, thank you so much for being here. Any last words you want to share? You're all good? You always got words of wisdom.
Yeah, reach high in July and watch the news, because Sue and I are going to be off the grid with family reunion, and so who knows what me and the rallies will get into in trouble, and so we'll have lots to report when we're back here. Sue, I don't know if you're gonna have this next week, if Emily's gonna
That's
keep
the
it
plan.
going, or yep. All right, so we're gonna have a little thing. So we're not gonna be doing too much in our work and our ongoing schedules next week. So Sue keeping this going is gonna be quite a treat. You're gonna have a sneak peek into what we are doing next week then, and we'll have a big report when we come back in a couple weeks on the 29th. So let's keep it going. Let's get the most out of July that we can. I'm loving it.
Thank you so much. And again, for all of us here with the TDC Canada Socially Served program,